I want you to reflect for a moment on what I'm about to say. Maybe the only thing that separates you from the life you've always dreamed of is the way you communicate. I'm not just talking about the words that come out of your mouth, but something much deeper that happens every second of your existence. Let's dive into this theme that can completely transform your reality. Everything around you is energy vibrating at different frequencies. You yourself are a walking energy field that is constantly interacting with a much larger field we call the universe. When there is harmony between your personal vibration and the vibration of the universal field, extraordinary things begin to happen. Opportunities come out of nowhere, the right people appear at the right moment, doors open without you having to knock. This is not magical thinking or the fantasy of someone who has read too many self-help books. I'm talking about principles that can be observed and even measured in some way. The vibration is real, it exists, and you are emitting one all the time. I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments what is the greatest dream you seek to express in your life. It can be anything: a house, a relationship, financial freedom, travel. Write here in the comments, because it is already a first step for you to start communicating clearly about what you really want. Universe, surprise me. What forms that personal vibration you emit to the world? There are 4 key elements that combine to create what we can call your energy firm. It's your deepest beliefs, the emotions you feel in everyday life, how you communicate, and what you do. Each of these elements vibrates in a specific way. The sum of all of them generates a mean frequency that you are constantly transmitting to the universe around you. It's like you're a radio station that never stops broadcasting. Today we will focus specifically on the communication element. This is one of the most powerful and at the same time most neglected pillars when it comes to creating a life of abundance and prosperity in all areas. When I talk about prosperity, I don't mean just money. To prosper means growing, expanding, flourishing in any dimension of existence. It can be in relationships, health, career, self-knowledge, spirituality. Let's do an imagination exercise now. Think about that dream you wrote in the comments, or that is stored in your heart. It can be a beach house, own business, find the love of your life, travel the world, help your family. Now imagine that between you and that desired reality there is only one door, a sturdy, heavy door, impossible to break down with brute force. The only way to get through this door is by using the right key. That key is in your hands right now. It's called communication. And when you learn how to use that key properly, the door opens, and you finally get what you've always wanted. But communication goes far beyond the words you utter. Research at top universities shows surprising data about how we really communicate. Only 7% of all human communication is composed of the words themselves. That's what you read. Only 7%. The rest is divided between the tone of voice you use, which is about 33%, and nonverbal communication, which is an impressive 55%. Nonverbal communication includes your facial expressions, body posture, hand gestures, eye contact, even the environment where the conversation takes place. All this speaks louder than words. Think about the implications of this for your life. You may be saying the right things, using the most beautiful and elaborate words, but if your body is conveying another message, that body message will prevail. And this is only considering the communication between 2 people who are facing each other. There are many more layers in this story that we need to explore to understand the full picture. Humans practice at least 3 different types of communication at all times. The first type is interpersonal communication, which takes place between you and other people. It's the conversation with the coworker, the talk with the family, the negotiation with a client. The second type is intrapersonal communication. The word intra means inside. So this is the communication that happens within you, between you and yourself. It's your inner dialogue, that voice in your head that never stops talking. The third type is communication with the field, with the whole, with that which transcends individuality. Some people call the universe, others call God, others call the source of creation. The name does not matter so much. What matters is to recognize that such communication exists. You are practicing these three types of communication simultaneously throughout all hours of the day. Even when you are silent, even when you are alone, you continue to communicate internally and with the field around you. Now, a fundamental question arises. If there is some kind of blocking or interference in any of these communication channels, how do you expect to manifest what you want? How do you intend to attract opportunities if your message is not getting through? Think about it. If there's a noise in your communication with other people, how are you going to get that promotion, close that deal, conquer that relationship? The other person will not grasp his true essence. If there is a noise in your communication with the universe, how do you expect it to put the right opportunities on your path? His message is coming in distorted, confused, full of interference that interferes with everything. If there is a noise in your communication with yourself, how do you intend to evolve and develop as a human being? You can't even hear your own inner wisdom because of all this mental noise. But what exactly is a communication noise? This question is essential to advance on this journey of understanding. Noise is any interference that distorts the original message or prevents it from reaching its destination clearly. In communication with other people, there are external noises that are easier to identify. An environment with a lot of noise, visual distractions, technological problems during a video call. These are the obvious noises. However, there are also internal noises that are much more dangerous precisely because they are invisible. They operate in the shadows of your mind without you realizing, sabotaging your interactions all the time. These inner noises are the limiting beliefs you carry with you. The shame of expressing myself, the fear of the judgment of others, that thought that if I say it they will think badly of me. All this creates static in their communication. Another very common internal noise is the lack of preparation to communicate in certain contexts. This happens when you simply haven't developed the repertoire needed to converse with certain types of people or in certain situations. The solution for this is to build that repertoire little by little. Study, learn, expose oneself to new knowledge and experiences. It is not a process that happens overnight, but it is absolutely possible for anyone. Perhaps you have never stopped to reflect on all this that I am sharing here. Most people spend their entire lives not thinking about communication in that deeper way. That's why so many people are frustrated when they try to make changes. How many times have you heard someone say that they've tried everything, that they've written down their goals in a notebook, that they read about their goals every day, but nothing works? This is an extremely common complaint from those who try to apply principles of manifestation. The problem is that these people are ignoring a key piece of the puzzle. Communication is one of the essential pillars, and when it is compromised, everything else is also damaged. What you give to the universe is the result of the combination of four elements: your beliefs, your emotions, your communication, and your actions. If any of these elements are misaligned, their vibration is compromised. When we begin to explore only the pillar of communication, we realize that there is a whole universe of knowledge to be discovered. There's a lot to study, a lot to practice, a lot to improve. Going back to the internal noises of communication, these limiting beliefs that inhabit your mind create a constant barrier. Even when you speak with apparent confidence, your body and energy may be conveying exactly the opposite. There is no way to disguise this. Remember, words make up only 7% of the message. You can choose the most elaborate and convincing words, but if there is no consistency with your stance and energy, the person will notice. Imagine someone at a job interview saying that they believe in their potential and can contribute a lot to the company, but that person's shoulders are bent. He avoids looking into the interviewer's eyes and his voice comes out shaky and low. What message is really being conveyed in this situation? Insecurity, fear, lack of preparation. Beautiful words are completely lost to bodily communication that shouts the opposite. These are just the noises that affect communication between people, but there is another, even more treacherous category of noise in intrapersonal communication, that conversation you have with yourself. These internal noises are both extremely subtle and devastating. You're not paying attention to them all the time, they just operate on your mind's autopilot without you realizing. It's that critical voice that comes up whenever you think about doing something different. She says things like you're not going to make it, who you think you are to want that. Remember when you tried before and got it wrong. This mental chatter is relentless. Create a noise so big inside your head that you can no longer hear your own intuition, your inner wisdom, your most genuine desires. How can you make decisions that are aligned with your true purpose if you can't even listen to what your essence is trying to tell you? The inner noise completely drowns that deeper voice. There is also a third category of noises which is the most subtle of all. They are the noises in their communication with the field, with the universe, with that greater intelligence that permeates all existence. This type of noise manifests itself in several ways. One of them is constant doubt. That question that comes up every time you try to connect with something bigger. Does it really work? Does the universe really listen? Another way is impatience. You place an order, set an intention, but still get immediate results. Why hasn't it happened yet? I asked for it so long ago and nothing has changed in my life. There is also a contradiction that is extremely common. You wake up in the morning and say a prayer for financial prosperity, but he spends the rest of the day complaining that everything is difficult, that money doesn't pay, that the situation is impossible. The noise of ingratitude is also very powerful. When you focus only on what is missing in your life, you forget to acknowledge and thank for what you have already achieved. The field captures this frequency of scarcity, and the universe responds according to what you are emitting. If you are vibrating at the frequency of default, you will receive more experiences of fault. If it is vibrating at the frequency of deficiency, it will attract more deficiency. Existence works like a mirror. It reflects again what you project. There is no point in wanting to argue with this principle or refusing to accept it. He operates regardless of his opinion about it. Only when you truly understand it, not just intellectually but in your heart, do you stop resisting. You accept that there is an inner job to do and start doing that job. Do you realize the impact these noises have on your personal vibration? When there is interference in any of the three types of communication, what we can call an energy short circuit is created. It's like trying to tune into a radio station, but you only hear the sound. The message is there, the music is playing, but it can't be picked up because there's too much interference in the signal. I will give a practical example to be clearer. Imagine that you want to manifest a loving relationship, that deep connection with someone special that you so long to find. In your communication with other people, you sabotage yourself in conversations. He can't express what he really feels, gets stuck, says things he didn't mean, stops saying what he should say. In your communication with yourself, you convince yourself that you don't deserve this love. Your inner voice repeats that you are not enough, that no one will really love you, that relationships are not for you. In your communication with the universe, you even ask to find love. But the frequency it's broadcasting is really of lack, of despair, of fear of being alone forever. How can the field deliver what one genuinely wants if the message that comes is confusing, contradictory, and full of noise? The universe's response will be equally confusing. The good news in the middle of all this is that those noises can be cleaned up. There is a way to eliminate these interferences. and make their communication much clearer and more powerful. Now I will share a simple but extremely effective technique. It involves aligning with the desired outcome before any communication occurs. It seems basic, but most people never do. Suppose you have an important meeting today, a job interview that can change your working life. What do most people do? Get ready, prepare answers to possible questions, and leave. But there is an earlier step that hardly anyone takes. Before leaving home, you need to align internally with the outcome you want in that situation. That changes the game completely. If you want to pass the interview, close your eyes and imagine the scene. Visualize the interviewer showing genuine interest in your profile. You see him smiling, asking questions with curiosity. Imagine responding with peace of mind and confidence. Feel like you're doing great. Experience in advance the joy of receiving news that you have been selected. Another example would be a first date with someone you want to get to know better. Before going out, visualize the two talking with lightheartedness and joy. Imagine the connection happening naturally. See the other person taking an interest in you, wanting to know more about your life, your stories, your dreams. He feels like the meeting was already a success before it started. This prior alignment practice can be applied in absolutely all situations of your life. No time is too small to use this powerful tool that is always available for you. Before you get in the car to work, stop for a few seconds and align with what you want from that experience. Before making an important call, visualize the positive outcome. Before a difficult conversation, imagine it flows well. Every interaction you have, whether with another person, yourself, or the universe, exists because you want something. No communication is completely neutral or unintentional, even if it is unconscious. So at least make it clear to yourself and the field what outcome you expect from that interaction. State your intent clearly, then let it go. Don't push too hard or worry about the outcome. This alignment goes beyond mental visualization. It also involves thinking ahead in practical details like what you're going to use. Your clothes tell you much before you even open your mouth. When the time for communication comes, be truly present. Not physically present as your mind travels elsewhere. Present with firm feet at the present moment. Most people are rarely in the present. They are eliminating the past or anticipating the future. But powerful communication only happens when you are completely where your body is at that instant. Pay attention to your body consciousness during interactions. Where are your hands? How is your spine? Are your shoulders relaxed or tense? Are you maintaining proper eye contact? Think about the tone of your voice. Does it sound firm and clear, or is it trembling and low? Is the speed right, or are you talking too fast because of nerves? These details make all the difference. Imagine someone competing for a leadership position in a big company. It's the final interview, the decisive moment. But he's out there biting his nails while waiting for his turn to talk. This simple gesture communicates anxiety and insecurity in a striking way, no matter how brilliant the person's resume is. Nonverbal communication was already affecting her chances before the conversation began. That is why pre-alignment through active imagination is so valuable. You visualize the scenario, see yourself fulfilling your goal, imagine things flowing naturally with a wealth of sensory details. The more vivid this visualization is, the better. Not only see the scene, but feel the emotions involved. Listen to the sounds of the environment. Feel the sensations in your body. Make the experience real internally. And along with this, also prepare all your nonverbal communication. Choose the right clothes, practice your posture, adjust your tone of voice. All that counts much more than the words you are about to utter. Now I want to introduce you to a word that you surely know, but have probably never explored its true meaning. This word is associated with magic, tricks, and illusion in popular culture. The word is abracadabra. When you hear it, you probably think of a Cartola magician pulling rabbits from inside a hat. But the origin of this expression reveals something much deeper. Abracadabra comes from Aramaic, an ancient language spoken thousands of years ago. Its literal meaning is extraordinary. It means that I believe in accordance with what I speak, or even when it is done according to my words. Think of the magnitude of this discovery. A civilization that has existed for so long already understood something that modern science is just beginning to investigate: the creative power of spoken word. This is not mere curiosity about the origin of an expression. It is the confirmation of a universal principle that operates in his life every second. When you speak, you're not just producing sounds in the air. You are literally programming the energy field around you with your intentions. Every word that comes out of his mouth functions as an instruction sent directly to the universal matrix. Think about this carefully. When you constantly repeat that you're always late, you're not just describing a behavior. You are creating and reinforcing this pattern in your reality. When you say again and again that you have no money, you are not simply reporting your current financial situation. You are decreeing scarcity and programming your brain to continue on that path. Neuroscience confirms this mechanism. Every time you make a claim, you strengthen specific neural connections in your brain. These connections become automatic paths of thought. If you spend years saying that you're unlucky, your brain creates a neural highway for that belief. Then it is much easier to think and act according to that schedule than to create new paths. That's why the communication noises we discussed are so harmful. When there is a contradiction between what you ask in your prayers and what you declare in everyday life, you create an internal war. You pray for prosperity in the morning, but all day long you complain about the economy, high prices, lack of opportunity. These two messages are voided and create confusion in the field. The abracadabra principle teaches us that our communication is never passive. It is always creative, always generating reality. Every sentence you utter shapes the world around you. It's like you're wearing an invisible magic wand all the time, and every word you speak directs the energy of this wand to materialize exactly what is being declared. When you practice that previous alignment I have shared, you are practicing true abracadabra. You are creating consciously through your word rather than creating automatically. The question that must be asked is direct and urgent. What kind of reality are you creating with the words you speak every day? Are your statements building or destroying your dreams? There is an ancient passage that says that in the beginning was the verb, and the verb was with the creative force, and the verb was that same force. This is not just a religious claim. It is a revelation about how creation works in its most fundamental essence. The word, the verb, is presented as the same mechanism through which all that exists has come to be. Before anything manifests on the physical plane, there is first the word. Material reality is always preceded by a statement, an intention verbalized, a creative communication. When it was said that light should be made, and light was made, it was not a silent thought. It was a verbal declaration that transformed the void into concrete manifestation. The word was the vehicle of creation. And here is the point that connects all this with your practical life. You were made in the image and likeness of that creative force. You are a miniature version of the same universal principle. This means that you also possess this power to create through your word. You can also decree realities. His statements also have the power to transform the vacuum into a manifestation. But here lies both the danger and the opportunity. If your words carry that creative power, then every time you say that your life is chaos, you are using that power against yourself. Every time you declare that nothing works out for you, that you are unlucky, that good things are not for you, You are employing the same force that created universes to generate more than you want. The sequence of creation is always the same. First comes the word, then comes the manifestation. First you declare, then you experiment. First you communicate, then reality reorganizes. That's why this alignment technique is so transformative. When you imagine and declare the desired outcome before the situation occurs, you are following the natural order of creation. His words are not neutral. They carry the same power that brought everything into existence. The question is whether you are consciously using this power or letting it operate by creating more of it. We have reached the deepest point of this conversation. His words don't just come from his mouth. They spring from your soul, from your truest essence, from what you really are inside. When you speak, you're not just moving muscles and blowing air. You are channeling your whole being through sound vibrations that carry your story, your beliefs, your fears and desires. Thus, two people can say exactly the same words and get completely opposite results. The difference is in the soul behind those words, in the energy that drives them. His soul can neither lie nor pretend. If you try to manifest something but your essence is programmed for the opposite, guess which message will be stronger? The one with the mouth or the one with the soul? True transformation occurs when there is total coherence between thought, feeling, word, and action. When your soul is aligned with your communication, you become a pure channel for manifestation. We have reached the end of this journey of knowledge, and I want to make you a special invitation. If this content has touched your heart and opened your mind to new possibilities, prove it with simple but powerful actions. Click the like button because it helps more people find that message that can transform lives. Sign up for the channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss any content that might accelerate your personal evolution. And most importantly, leave your comment here below by writing the sentence "I believe" as I speak. This is not just any comment, it's a decree you are making for the universe right now. By writing these words, you are practicing everything you have learned today, using the power of your communication consciously and intentionally. Also share this video with at least 3 people you know need to hear this message. Maybe someone close is stuck in life precisely because of noises in communication that they don't even know exist. You can be the instrument that brings this consciousness to that person. Transformation starts with small gestures, and your participation here makes all the difference in this current of awakening. Thank you for being here until the end.